Hello everybody, welcome. This is Vilgo the Observer. I draw crazy things for my own fantasy world called Persevera. And today you're all gonna be saying hello to Mr. Slug Ape here. Mr. Slug Ape, so the Slug Ape. The Slug Ape itself, so the idea for this guy wasn't all that grand. The story goes, and this is a little bit of a weird thing about me, get a load of this guys, my sweat is acidic. like nothing I wear will still look good in like 4 to 5 months. Like shirts, pants, they just seem to melt and rip. And my hats, the parts touching my skin are looking like they've melted together. It looks really weird, like helmets even, whatever. And the crazy thing is also on hot days, I can actually feel my sweat burn me, like even though I'm staying indoors all day, dudes. So I thought, why not mix an ape with a slug? Because slugs are slimy, and what if their slime is acidic? Like me. And kind of like alien blood or spit. It's more like, that scene, like at least this is kind of similar to the gasping ape concept I came up with. But the thing about apes in my world, I think it'll be good for them to just breathe loud, like the alien queen, where they just go like. So that's what I had in mind, and so that's what I did. I mixed an ape with a slug, and this is what we ended up with, which is Mr. Slug Ape here. And essentially what they are is just a really scary looking fat guy with 6 arms and no legs. They also have loose eyelids, you see, very, very loose looking eyelids, so they can never blink. And they have a loose lower lip, so they're always drooling, and they always seem to always be like smiling, just smiling in perpetuity. And this guy definitely looks human, like definitely looks human. But I'm thinking of making apes like a regular thing for Persevera. And if you're a subscriber, you would have heard me talk about how I feel about human-looking monsters and how I actually think they are much more scary indeed than monsters that look like let's say lions, like lions or insects. Like I'm just terrified by Sasquatches and like the concept of Bigfoot even existing. And let me tell you, like I think this is a fact, but ape DNA, I believe, is only about a percentage different, like 1% different from people, or I think it's even more, like it's lower than that. But let's just say it's 1%. So what I had in mind is like, what if these apes of Persevera, what if the difference between them and us is not even 1, but it's near 0? Like you could pretty much just consider them people. Only they decided to evolve into their own like weird thing instead of looking like us. And like we evolved into humans. And I think how apes these days, especially orangutans, they seem to have nowhere else to go. Like if you look them up on the internet, they seem to always be in a sanctuary somewhere, not their actual environment. So and the remaining apes, there are still plenty out there, probably just chimps. So what I had in mind was, what if they existed alongside us? Because like I know chimps can be just as evil as people at times, like they can even form gangs and like gang up on other chimps and kill them and eat them, which is crazy. But like, what if all of these apes, what if we just sort of evolve very closely together, like in terms of speed? Like imagine if the difference between them and us is, it's not even 5 million years. Like 5 million years like seems like a long time, but can you imagine like if your dad had you, and your dad and your mom had another kid, and you see the difference between you and your sibling is not much, right? So I mean, of course it's going to take a long time for people to just keep evolving into something different. Like I don't think even 1,000 years would be like, I don't think like 1,000, like people in the year 5,000 will pretty much look the same as people that live today, like I think. But like, so I think it'll be normal to assume 5 million years is actually fast. So instead of like 5 million years difference between us and apes, imagine if it's only like 1 million, like instead of becoming kinder and more nurturing, I'm talking about them, the apes, Like, just like us sacrificing strength for brains. But instead, they just chose to become the total opposite of us, which is supposed to be just these unstoppable monsters. And they can most definitely look human, but I have an idea for whatever isn't truly human in Persevera. I'm thinking of just calling them apes. So, like, whatever species that isn't completely human, you know, like I might come up with elves or demons or whatever, and they pretty much look people. Maybe with the elves they have different ears, they have pointy ears, you know, like classic elves or something like that. Like I can call them apes. But pretty much everything that super duper looks human, but they're not actually human. Just like this Mr. Slug ape here, I'm thinking of just calling them apes. So them being similar to us will mean that each individual ape can have very distinct features. Like all birds, let's say all birds of the same flock, they look the same. But let's say you might look similar to your siblings, but you and your neighbor and your friends and your cousins, you definitely don't look the same, you know, like you look way different. And so the same goes with the slug ape, they can really look different. And it's not like looking at I don't know, like a Siberian Husky next to another Siberian Husky. Yeah, they're the same type of like shapes, but they're gonna have different spots or something. So you'll be able to differentiate them like easy. But I think it'll be very cool for the apes of my world Persevera to look completely different from one another. And back to the slug apes features. So it's got 6 arms. And it drags its body across the mud in the foggy marsh, just as I've designed here, which is where the rat scouts live. It can go inside the forest too, but since the forest has much more stuff on the ground, like it's drier, number one, and it's just got much more stuff, because there's just stuff falling from trees and like whatever, it slows down. They're like dragging along, like they're shuffling about by a lot. So instead of them being in the forests more often, I think it would be cool if they were more often stick to just the muddy areas, which is the like the foggy marsh itself, and they're very moist, like to the point they're slimy, but the slime actually helps them drag their own bodies around much easier, and they eat everything. Mostly corpses and plant matter, because all sorts of things they just die here. In this area, and they drag their bodies around much easier because they're slimy. Did I say that? I think I said that. And they're really slow because they're super fat and they have no legs. They just got arms. But I want them to be quite agile in the water. You know, kind of like hippos. Hippos are fat, but they can swim really fast in the water. Guys, like look it up. It's really scary. So in a way, they function sort of as the forest's cleaners, kind of like sea cucumbers, you know, like. But on land, they're like land cucumbers, or just cucumbers. And with the slug ape, the only other ape I've designed for Persevera, at least until today, is the gasping ape. Which is a whole other type of ape, and it looks definitely okay. For one, it doesn't look slimy; it looks dry, and it's hairy all over, and it can walk just like us on 2 legs, or it can climb because it's got these really long, big arms. So it's not like the slug ape, but I'm super excited to add even more apes to Persevera. I gotta add more because I think the apes thing that I've come up with is really cool. If I were to summarize the slug ape, so they're real big and they're covered in fat, and they have 6 arms, no legs. They're slow on land, but they're quick in water, and they're super slimy. And I haven't quite figured out the slimy part, like how it would function. Like what type of slime? Do they have color? Like, are they really slimy or like not really? Are they super acidic or not at all? Like that might be topic, you know, and for another day, for far into the future, because I really just want to keep brainstorming these monsters and dishing them out quickly along with other ideas, not only monsters, like props and people and costumes and houses and all this other stuff like that, like cultures, dances, food, music, even like I'm thinking of poetry even. But I have two ideas in mind, okay, for the slimy part. So either the slime will be so acidic it can actually melt things when exposed long enough, or it's so mild that it's actually beneficial to the environment in some way. Like maybe it makes the ground more fertile, I don't know, or possibly even kill germs in the water. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the Slug Ape design for now. Let me know what you think, guys. Do you think it's cool? Do you think the Slug Ape is cool? Do you think Persevera is cool? Do you have any other ideas to add, or even more monster you have in mind for Persevera? Like, let me know down in the descriptions below. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as it's the only way I can keep making these videos. Thank you everyone. Sorry for the accents. I'm getting quite tired tonight. It's near midnight. But thank you for watching. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll be seeing you again in next week's video. Bye bye.